Hello again. Glad you're back for another week. How are you doing? It's been kind of difficult these past few months, hasn't it? I miss seeing you all at Sunday school. And I miss going to lunch and the movies with my son. What do you miss doing? Well, I have 2 stories to share with you today. Today's Bible story is about a Jewish man named Nehemiah who missed his hometown of Jerusalem. Some years before, Jerusalem had lost a war, and a lot of the people in the city had been taken away by the winning army and moved far, far away, including Nehemiah's family. Nehemiah now lived in a city called Susa, where he had a good job working for a king, but he still felt sad every time he thought about Jerusalem. Well, one day, one of his relatives came to see him, bringing along some men who had been able to move back to Jerusalem. Nehemiah was anxious to hear what was going on there. They told him the walls that protected the city were in ruins, and people were very discouraged. Nehemiah was very upset, and he talked to God about how he felt. And then he went back to work helping the king. But the king noticed how upset Nehemiah was and insisted Nehemiah explain. And Nehemiah did. He told the king he was sad because his hometown of Jerusalem was practically in ruins. And then he even got brave enough to ask the king if he could take a vacation back to Jerusalem to see what he could do to help. And believe it or not, the king said, "Sure, go ahead." Nehemiah packed his bags and traveled back to Jerusalem. After resting for 3 days, it was a long trip, he rode around the city after it was dark, looking at the broken walls and seeing how bad it was. He was discouraged. How on earth were they going to be able to fix this? It seemed like an impossible dream. So before I tell you what happened next to Nehemiah in Jerusalem, I'm going to first share with you a story called Tomosino's Impossible Rain. Let's hear what it's all about, okay? Antonino's Impossible Dream, written by Tim McGlann, illustrated by Sofia Giuliotto. Antonino dreamed large, impossible dreams. To capture them, he learned to paint. He filled canvas after canvas with his dreams. One dream, however, he could not paint, no matter how hard he tried. He called this dream Friend. Time after time he tried to paint Friend. Time after time he failed. Finally, he threw down his brush and hurled paint everywhere. He had always been able to paint his dreams. Why was this dream so difficult? The next morning, Antonino put his paints away. He found a wall and a ball. Bop! 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 Then a new sound took over. Gentle, like rain with the tap-tap, came a girl. "Why do you tap-tap?" Antonio asked. "I tap-tap because I cannot see," the girl said. What color is your ball? Red, Antonino said. Would you like to play? If you catch, the girl said. I imagine I'm not very good at catching. Antonino put the ball in her hand. There, you have it, Antonino said. Pop, pop, pop. The next day, Antonino painted outside. What does he hear? You are painting, the girl said. Your brush is a butterfly in my ears. It is a work of enormous importance, Antonino said. Would you like to help? If you will teach me, the girl said. All you do is put paint on the brush like this and touch the canvas like this. Paint, canvas, paint. He took away his hand. Paint, canvas, she said. Paint, canvas. You are doing it, he said. You are painting. But how does it look, she asked. It looks, Antonino said, like the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. Her smile hatched rainbows in Antonino's heart. Let's create a masterpiece, he said. We'll call it Friend, she said. Friend. Together, they painted the universe. The end. How did Tommasino's dream to paint a masterpiece called Friend come true? Oh, wait a minute, you're right. He found a friend, and together they painted that masterpiece. I suspect you won't be surprised that something similar happened to Nehemiah. He told everyone what he wanted to do, and he was surprised to find out that a whole bunch of people wanted to help. The book of Nehemiah in the Bible even lists the names of some of the families that helped rebuild the walls, along with which part of the wall they repaired. My favorite part is a verse in chapter 3 of Nehemiah, which mentions a name called Shallum, who fixed one section of the broken walls with the help of his daughters. It was somewhere in this area of the city along the western wall. Pretty cool, huh? Girls helped too. The Bible says that what seemed to Nehemiah practically impossible only took 52 days with all the help from the people. How did he do that? He didn't do it alone, did he? He needed help, right? Just like Tommasino needed help with his picture. You know what? I need help sometimes. And sometimes I find it hard to ask for help. Does that happen to you too? I remember a math class I had to take in college. I didn't study, and I didn't ask the teacher for help. And getting a good grade in that class turned out to be impossible. And it didn't have to be that way. If I didn't want to ask the teacher, if I just asked one of my friends to help, I wouldn't have gotten such a bad grade. God knows we need help sometimes, and He's given us all kinds of people in our lives who can help. But first we have to ask, right? Things that seem impossible dreams are not so impossible if we remember that. So I want you to have a good week. Be nice to your family. Ask for help when you need it. And maybe ask and maybe help other people if they ask you for help. I'll see you again next week, okay? With another great story. Bye-bye.